and on your phone with the KOFA app. We have been a service of Arizona Western College for more than 55 years.
One of our donors, Rebecca, shared, "As a flight attendant, I love listening to Border Radio when I'm home in Yuma. But the best part is I can take it with me on the app when I'm away. Border Radio lets me carry a piece of home wherever I go." Join listeners like Rebecca by visiting donate.borderradioaz.org and contribute today.
What's up, Yuma? I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon.
On today's program, we are going to be joined first by Bethany Leeds. She is the owner of Right Off the Ranch, and she describes herself as a woman with country roots and a ranch soul. At Right Off the Ranch, you can find homemade and handmade soaps, body butter, jelly, and so much more. We're going to find out what that so much more is, as well as our very own Travis Mitchell from right here at AWC. We're going to be talking about graduation day. Yeah, I think it's tonight if I'm not sure. I don't know what he's doing, sneaking away from all that busy work he has to do today, but we're going to find out more with our very own Travis Mitchell. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. You can also view our show on the Border Radio Facebook page and the KAWC YouTube page. And don't forget, you can reach out to us by email at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
Chili from Philly. Nick Papagiorgio from Yuma.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon. Johnny, it's the weekend.
It is the weekend, yes. I'm so glad. And I looked at my calendar. I don't have a lot of meetings today, so that's freeing. But I have a busy day tomorrow. So
right. So we have two events tomorrow. I want to mention mine, and then we can talk about what you're going to be doing. But so there's a Citizens Town Hall discussion. It's a community-led political event. It is a discussion, like a meet and greet for candidates. It's tomorrow at 10 a.m. And if you want the location, you have to RSVP to Brianna Falsetti at briannamfalsetti@yahoo.com.
So what candidates do we get to meet? Is this city council or what?
They don't say. I'm sure like city council, you know, all the offices that are open, school boards maybe. And so it is like a town hall. And so and they say like very specifically like no speeches, no campaign talking points. It's more of a discussion. So,
gotcha.
So it doesn't matter, you know, it's more of a discussion than, you know, just
trying
like
to
one party or another, you know, there. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe, at town halls, usually we could ask questions and find out about them more than just a campaign speech.
Right. And talk about issues in the community.
Yeah. And the other event, what's the other event tomorrow?
The one you're going to.
Oh, yeah, the one I'm hosting.
Yeah, you're hosting.
Hosting. Building an Empire, Rise of a Dynasty. I think that's the full name of it. So, that's going to be at the Cachan Casino Resort. That's going to be at 6 o'clock is going to be when you watch the video. They're going to close the doors. So you got to be there early and registered by 5:30. So
yeah, is that sold out?
It's sold out for tables, but I don't know if they're gonna. They said that they'll open up another room if need be. The casino will open up another one of the rooms, and they have the little sliders that they could open and close. So if more people show up, I'm pretty sure they'll let them in. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of cool speakers. One of the top real estate agents here in Arizona is coming down to speak. Tom Rush, who is a previous sponsor of the show, he's going to be speaking. So I'm kind of excited about that. And I'll be hosting with Nicole, and very, very excited about the closer. Do you remember I was talking about who's closing, Victor?
But remind me.
The magician.
Okay.
Yes, the magician. So I said, if I'm going to host this thing, I want a magician, and we got a magician coming. You need some entertainment. You don't want just people speaking, right? Sure. It's cool. Yeah, you get some info, but they got a magician coming from Vegas. So, and she's going to be closing out the night, so I'm excited about magic. You like magic?
I do, yeah. So she'll be like, what color am I thinking of? No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, we hopefully it'll be a good way to end the night. And then after that, after the magician, it's just networking and getting to know people. And yeah, you're going to be there.
Looking forward to it, yes.
And your wife is going to be there as well now?
Yes, we'll be out there, so.
Yeah, and you're going to cover it, probably do a news story and everything?
Yes, let people know what's going on.
All right, and that's going to be our weekend, but let's get to our guest today. One of my mom's favorite. My mom, she bugs me all the time. You need to get her on. Do you get her on? Get her, and I forget. Like if it's not right in front of my face, and if I don't do it right then, I forget. So I apologize about that. But I'm talking about Bethany, and you are from Right Off the Ranch.
Correct.
All right. And right off the ranch, it's, before we're going to give a little bit of a teaser and then we're going to go backwards. But what can you expect right off the ranch?
Oh, a little bit of everything. Our slogan is actually a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So sourdough bread, beef jerky, beard oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We got stuff for men. I know the husbands will pull up with the wives and they just sit out in the car and we tell them, no, bring them on in. You'd be surprised.
And so no joke. So when I go there, so when mom comes into town, I usually sit in the car, right? Because I didn't know that. Well, we talked earlier, you need a website. But I didn't know you have the beard oil. Like my mom's like, I need to get this one powder thing that I get. And I used to get it from Sam over at, what was it? Naked, Bare Naked. Yeah, Bare Naked soaps. And anyway, and so, I would sit, but I didn't know that. That's good to know.
Yep.
So a little bit of everything, but we're going to find out how you got to that place. You're born and raised here in Yuma, correct?
Born and raised, yes.
All right. What was it like growing up in Yuma?
As a kid, I do remember one specific Christmas. I think it was literally in 70, what would it be, 77? Mm-hmm. I think it snowed here.
Oh, really?
Yes. And it was literally on Christmas Day.
Wow.
Yeah. So we lived down on Avenue B at the time. And I do remember that morning. But it was fun. I remember Avenue B being a dirt road. That makes me feel very, very old.
Well, oh, geez. It was a dirt road. Huh?
It was a semi-dirt road. Mm-hmm. And it does make me feel very old.
No, you're not old. You don't look it. So you're doing great. Whatever you're selling over there, peddling at this right off the ranch. Yeah, the face creams and such. They're working. But so growing up, what schools did you go to?
Woodard for a short spell, 4th Avenue Junior High, Yuma High School. Went to O.C. Johnson before that, and but Yuma High School.
Yuma High. Are you proud to be a criminal?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They usually here, the criminals kind of hold that badge of honor a little bit more than other schools, I've noticed.
Yeah.
Right? It seemed to be the case for you?
Yeah, really, it does. And I've got friends that they'll come into town and they go and they buy criminal shirts.
Right.
And they take them back to all of their family and friends that have nothing to do with Yuma. But they're like, dude, I went to, a school with a criminal as our mascot.
It is pretty cool. It is pretty neat to have that. That's the only school with the criminal as a mascot, because you don't want to say you got a bunch of criminals running around. Yeah. But
right.
Here in Yuma, we do. We have a lot of criminals running around. So when you were young, were you always a rancher?
No. My grandmother had horses. My aunt had horses. But my mom and dad did not.
Oh, okay.
We kind of traveled around a little bit, but ultimately we stayed in Yuma for the most part. And my husband and I, when we first got married, we ended up he worked for a pet store. What was it called? Pets Plus?
Oh, Pets Plus.
Way back in the day. And so we had, when my kids were really little, our whole entire house was filled with reptiles and birds. And then we
So
moved.
did he own it? Or he just worked there?
He just worked there.
And then why was your house full of reptiles?
Because he worked at a pet store.
So he was like, we're bringing another one home?
We're going to bring another, let's bring another snake home, or a lizard or, whatever.
I got to admit, that's pretty cool. But all right. So you have all the reptiles, you have animals around your house. And so and that leads to let's open up a ranch, or tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we were in a home off of 9E, and we decided to move out into the country a little bit more to get the kids, out and about so that they could so they can run around in a safe area where we didn't have to worry about it. So we moved out off of County 14th Street, just east of Araby, on 2 acres. And we've been out there since 1989. And the kids, like my son, I would have to beg him to come inside. It could be the middle of summer and he would still just be outside riding his bike and enjoying life. So that part of it has been great for us. But it slowly built up to the secretary at my husband's work had some horses that she needed to get rid of, right? So you start out with 1, 2 horses, and then before you know it, you've got, I think that we were up to 7 horses at one point.
Okay, so you have a lot of land at this point, and then somebody says, I got to get rid of a horse, and your husband's used to taking in animals. It's like, we'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, we'll do it. But you had background in it because you said you had family that had horses.
Yeah.
So then you knew what you were getting into to a degree? Or?
No, I was pretty young.
Okay.
So we kind of jumped into it, and we ended up with the horses. We had them for a couple of years, and then one thing that I did forget to mention to you, we owned a feed store on County 14th Street for I don't know, 5 or 6 years.
Oh, okay.
And then when the economy tanked in 2010, I think it was, we went ahead and shut it down. But through that feed store, we ended up with other animals too, because people come in, they're like, hey, I got a goat, and I can't take care of it anymore. So, of course, you got to take it in. So.
Oh yeah, well of course you got to. And shout out to my mom for helping putting this on. My mom was the same way. So at my mom's in Payson, there is everything like chickens, quail, goats, sheep, ducks. Like every animal, it seemed like she would just take it in if somebody was getting rid of an animal or whatever. And then, one of the goats ended up ramming her in the head, and then that became Bedia real quick. And anyway, and then she started to get rid of them little by little. But I think she still has chickens up there right now. But so you're taking them in, and then little by little, you're learning how to take care of each?
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like the chickens and stuff are kind of
pretty easy.
Pretty easy. Yeah. So we're now we had gotten rid of all of our goats. We thought, okay, we're getting older. The kids are grown. We're just going to go ahead and, we're going to thin the herd. We're going to get rid of everything. We sold our horses because our kids, they have their own life now. And so my husband and I weren't going to do anything with horses. So we got rid of them. And then we got rid of the goats, and we would process our goats. Same thing with the chickens for food. And we were down to just boarders. And then we started with the ranch tours. And of course, you need more animals if you're going to have ranch tours.
Yeah, you can't just show them like a wood fence or something, right? You got to have the animals.
Yeah.
So then, okay. And what was that idea? Like, let's do tours and then get the animals? Like, how'd that work?
So I had a homeschool group reach out to me and ask me if they could come and just see the animals. And at that time, we had several horses on the property. We had chickens. I think we did have a couple goats still and a pig. And I told them, sure, so we brought them in. They had a great time. We just kind of flew by the seat of our pants right on this one. But then it turned into something. And before we knew it, they had such a good time that we decided to go ahead and start doing it.
It sparked something. You saw people enjoying what you could provide, and you said, we're going to pull down this thread a little bit more, and we're going to figure this out and offer the tours.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, okay, then what was it after that? Logistics, or is it like, let's go get more animals, or?
Well, since we didn't have any goats, this last tour actually did it. We had a gentleman, R&R Farms. He brought out his Highland cows.
Oh, yeah.
So cute. 2 little Highland cows.
They're the ones with the hair, right?
Yes. The little tiny things with lots of hair down in their face. So he brought them. A neighbor brought down 2 of her baby goats. And, of course, we've got the chickens. I've got a desert tortoise. I've got a box turtle. I've got a parrot. And Sampasquaw School, I think, was supposed to show up. We had it scheduled with another, with one of the locals to have them out, and they had to change their schedule. So I thought, I already had the cows scheduled. I had several other people scheduled. I'm just going to go for it. So I opened it up to the public, which I haven't done that before. And I said, okay, we can take 25 people, 25 kids. But they were coming in so fast that I couldn't even control it at that point. And before I knew it, there were 35 kids. And, of course, the adults have to accompany us. Where with the school, it's a little bit different. They show up in a school bus, or in a van with just maybe a couple of people. And this was huge. We had probably about 65 or 70 people that showed up, and we've had fantastic feedback. And out of that, one of my neighbors, the neighbor that brought the goats, she said, hey, if you want one of these baby goats, you can have them. And so Laura and Terry Hartman, they gave us one of their baby goats. And if you know anything about goats, you cannot just have one because they're very herdy. They have to have a companion. Yeah. They're very social. And so
they like to play and have fun.
They do. Yeah. Absolutely. And so we got another goat. So now we have two. Now we have churro and beans.
Churro and beans.
Churro and beans.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like a good meal too.
I should have brought beans.
not of them, but you know.
Yeah.
I should have brought one of them in with me.
You should have.
Great.
Yeah,
Next time.
absolutely.
We had a dog in here on the show, so
Oh, yeah.
we had the woman who had the bigger dog.
Yeah, we've read that. And so I just want to mention before we're going to take a break here in a minute, but I want to bring up you are also part of the rodeo. Correct. You did something with them for the rodeo. Is it Queen? Is that how you?
Correct. Rodeo Queens.
Okay.
My daughter was the teen queen in 2007.
Okay.
And once she, your title is for 1 year. And when she finished her year, she had a break, and at that time the director was giving up her position, so I went ahead and took it over, and I did it for 8 years. I ran 8 years.
And that's a volunteer position?
It is a volunteer position.
And what is the role of your position? What is it require?
Organizing the Rodeo Queen and Teen Queen so that they can go to different rodeos throughout the state of Arizona.
So they go to rodeo.
They
Okay.
travel.
They travel. Okay.
Correct. We take their horses. My husband and I would load up their horses, and we would go to all the different rodeos in the state of Arizona. Kingman, Payson. That was always a favorite. As a matter of fact, Miss Rodeo Arizona was held there. The pageant was held in Payson. So we would do that. And speaking of goats, we had to have different fundraisers, right? In order to be able to travel, you have to have money.
Sure.
So we came up with goat ransom.
Goat ransom.
Goat ransom
Okay.
days. So what we would do is, let's say we would start out here. We did this at one of the other radio stations. And so we showed up with the goat and told them, you can either pay us $25 to go away, or you can pay us $50 and you can send us to another location without anybody
I like
knowing.
that. That's pretty cool.
So we did. So there was only, I think, maybe one time out of all the years that we did it that somebody said, well, I'll just pay you the $25 and we'll let it ride. Everybody else was like, oh, I know exactly
This
where
is
I'm
fun.
sending you.
Yeah. You get to have somebody show up and there's why is there a goat here?
Yeah.
It's like, well, actually.
Yeah, we went to City Hall. We went to attorneys' offices. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So a lot of fun. You did that for 8 years.
8 years.
Any other memorable moments?
Oh, the Rodeo Queen pageants, for Pete's sake, just leading up to them. And I think that my favorite time, excuse me, was when we were on the road with the Rodeo Queens, them getting ready for the different rodeos and stuff. One of my most favorite moments, and I probably shouldn't even speak of this, but I'm going to.
Cool. This is juicy.
This is juicy. We had to go to the state capitol. We were going to tour the state capitol, and there was a rodeo queen and a teen queen in my back seat. And one of them had rollers in her hair, and she said, Bethany, I forgot my hairspray. Well, if you know anything about rodeo queens, that's like the worst thing that you can do, right? And there's humidity in the air. We need to keep the curls in the hair. So we thought, okay, I told her there's got to be a dollar store around here somewhere. Well, on Van Buren by the state capitol, there was a dollar store, all right, but it was a piece of plywood with a spray paint that said dollar store. And I thought, well, there was nothing else in sight. So I thought, we're going to do it. So we pull in, and there's people dealing drugs right there in the parking lot.
Yeah, Van Buren could be, depending on what part, it's pretty dangerous.
So I told the girls, you're going to stay in the car. I'm going to lock the doors. I had a 380 with me. I set it on my console, and I said, I want you to keep your doors locked. I'm going to run in and get the hairspray. I'm going to come right back out. Do not unlock these doors until I get out. So I run in, and I'm like a nervous wreck, sweating. I'm like, I need my hair. I need the hairspray. Where's the hairspray? And the clerk's just looking at me like I've got 3 heads and just pointed. So I ran and grabbed the hairspray. I threw $5 on the counter. I don't even know. I think I gave them enough. And ran back to the car. And at this point, it was like zombie land. These guys were coming at the car very, very slow. So I'm banging on the door or the window because they're not paying attention. They're on their phones. I'm like, big time troublemakers. So they weren't, but that was big trouble for them.
Absolutely.
So they unlock the door. I jump in, start the car, throw it in reverse, throw it in drive, and we literally launched it out of that parking lot. So, and we were laughing so hard once it was over, but just moments like that were probably...
That is a memorable moment, and that shows how dedicated you were to your position, a volunteer position. You went out on Van Buren
to get that hairspray.
hairspray for that
That's right.
queen.
Yeah.
You're like, here you go, queen. Queen. I got it, and I risked my
Yes,
life
Queen.
for yours.
That's right.
Yes, Queen. You go and slay tonight. All right. Oh, man. Yeah, I'll tell you, I took a wrong turn in Van Buren one time at night, and it was not good. So, yeah, props to you for doing that. And with that, we are going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about more of what you can expect at Right Off the Ranch. We're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Yuma Art Center hosts Yuma Art Smart Camp for children ages 6 to 15. Activities include painting, sculpture, and collage. Children will gain an understanding of visual arts in relation to history and culture and will end the day watching a movie. 3 4-day sessions beginning June 2nd. Details at yumaartcenter.com.
You're tuned to 94.7 FM, KOFA Border Radio. The weather forecast for Yuma today is sunny with the high near 100, a south-southwest wind around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear this evening with the low around 66 and gusts as high as 20 miles per hour. Palmcroft Elementary School has a new mural, and it comes courtesy of Yuma Union High School District students. For more details, visit kawc.org/news. Stay tuned to 94.7 FM, KOFA Border Radio.
The City of San Luis hosts summer camp sessions at Joe Orduño Park with sports and other activities. The first session for children ages 7 to 9 runs from June 1st to the 26th, followed by a second session for ages 10 to 12 from June 29th to July 24th. Details and registration at sanluisaz.gov/events.
Turn on Border Radio KOFA 94.7 FM and cross musical borders every day. From new indie discoveries to timeless classics, listener-supported Border Radio brings you music you won't hear anywhere else. Live, local, and online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are talking about Right Off the Ranch with Bethany right now. And let's get into what else we can expect, because you're doing tours, and I guess you're also going to kind of ramp those up too. You were talking about?
We are.
Yeah. But let's talk about what we were talking about off air and how you got started with the products that you sell.
Okay. Yeah. So a good friend of mine, Melissa Hayes, we started making soaps, handmade soaps, jelly, and we were selling it at craft shows, churches, wherever we could set up. And it was, before you know it, you have somebody saying, oh, well, can you make this? It's almost like a dare, right? Like, I dare you to make this, right? Yeah. So sure, of course we can. And before we knew it, we had an abundant amount of products. And so we decided, instead of doing craft fairs and whatnot, we decided to move it to the farmer's market. And I have a 1954 Flying Cloud that we fixed up. My husband helped fix up the whole entire inside. And so we would take that to the farmer's market, set up all of our products, and then, stay there for, I think it was like, we'd show up at 7, everything starts selling at 9, 10 o'clock, and then we would close it down by 1, 2 o'clock. But we have so many products that it just got to be too many to pack up, sell, and then tear back down.
It became a whole mission.
It did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a complete project. And then you're kind of losing the fun of it. So we opened up the store I bought one of the portable buildings, and we opened up the store, not this October that passed, but the one before. And so it's been a little over a year and a half. It's been about a year and a half that we've had the business. And I have not even done a celebration for our 1 year because we've been so busy. So busy. It's been great. The community has been amazing, and just a great outpouring, of support.
So tell me time-wise. So then you're at your location where you're at now.
Yep.
And so was the ranch tours going on simultaneously with you going out and selling the products?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we would schedule it to where we would have a slow point, or I would close the store while I would close the store while we did the tour for the short. I think I've only done 2 tours since I've had the school.
Okay.
Since I've had the store.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so then you got a building, and did you expand on products? Did you? It's like, was there more dares? Like, I dare you to make this now. You know.
Yeah. So because of the fact that I have to be careful of how many products I make because, you can just wear yourself out after a while. I make my products, I label them, I have to create the label, So I brought in a bunch of local vendors because that's literally what Yuma's all about, right? It's like support local. And I feel like Yuma's blessed in that way. Everybody supports everybody for the most part. And so I've got the Rustic Pantry. I've got her sourdough goods, Tasty Bites, which she is gluten-free, vegan, dairy-free, a lot of good desserts.
We need to get her on the show. We need to, like, I've been
Kelly
meaning,
Fleck.
like, I've talked to her back and forth. Sorry, thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's put that on the notes. But go ahead.
Yeah. So, and Macarons and More, Jana Wharton. She's another one.
I've
She's
never heard of
great.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Macarons and More. She does some big stuff.
Okay, give me some more guests. No,
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Help me book. No, I'm just kidding.
Got lots of them. I mean, seriously, I've got somebody that makes our coffee for us. We've got, so on the south end of the store when you come in, it's mostly coffee and beef jerky and all kinds of like foodie stuff. And then to the north side of the building is all of our body products, soaps, beard oils. We've got for men and women, not the beard oils.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean,
It's 2026.
Teach their own.
And do you make the beard oil as well?
I do.
You do.
I do.
So how did you kind of just figure things out as you go and like you said, I dare you to make this and you look for, is it called a recipe at that point if it's a beard oil? Okay,
Yeah,
you
it
look
would
for a
be.
recipe.
Yep.
And you try it out or have your husband try it out if it's beard oil and then it's like, wow, this is good. Or it's
Yes.
like, all right, pretty cool.
Yeah, you just change the ratio depending on what you're looking for as far as density. Depending on whether you want, let's say sweet almond oil or coconut oil, they're a little bit more fluid as to where, your butters, your cocoa butter, your shea butter, mango butter, they're a little bit more dense. So you play with those two, you melt them together. You can infuse them with herbs, which I'm really big on. I love tinctures and herbs, and we're trying to stay a little bit more natural. I'm kind of reeling in the fragrances a little bit instead. So
tell me why that's important with you're talking about the herbs and the tinctures. Tell me a little bit about that.
I feel like it's more important because with the synthetic fragrances, there's a lot of problems right now with hormonal issues for sure, and fragrances play a big part in that, and lung issues. And so I try to stick with more of the natural products. And I know I've got several people that come in and that's what they're looking for. Like your mom, for example, she loves the body powder, it's lavender body powder. And it's more natural. It doesn't have a lot of the synthetic products. It's got arrowroot powder, and that's super smooth, slick on the skin, nothing dangerous or scary about it. And so that's kind of what we're trying to stay more geared
and
towards.
I know there was like an issue with a powder here not that long ago. It was like in the news and it was causing problems. I forget the exact details.
Yeah, lung problems.
Oh, there you go. And so it's kind of interesting to be like, wow. And then I think about it. At some point before all the synthetic stuff, they had to figure out how to make these things because there was perfumes before there was synthetic perfumes, right? There was just certain things. And so you just have to find out what the natural ingredients are to get that objective.
Right. And I think that probably part of the problem is that with natural products, they do cost a little bit more. But, and I think that that's where a lot of the big companies even, some of the fast food places, that's where they tend to go. They try to figure out how can we make it the cheapest we possibly can and still make a big markup. And that's not our goal.
And I'm how should I put it? When I think about that, I think about it. If you build it, they will come type of thing, right? It's like you'll find your market. There's people. We had the Maples
Apothecary.
There you go.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, we had Toby on, and he was talking about having these plants, and they sell really good in San Diego. Well, people buy them, like these $1,000 plants, these ones that are very expensive. But it's like you have to build it and then have it available, and then the market will find you if you do it right, right? There's people that would be willing to pay a premium for certain ingredients for health benefits or whatever, or to stay away from certain things, right? Allergies, whatever it is. But you have to just take that chance. It could be a little scary, but the big corporations, they do it because they're just looking for fast in and out. They
That's
just
right.
boom, boom, boom. But the small shops are able to capitalize off of the people that will, I'm going to pay a little bit more because I want to know what goes in this.
Right.
Yeah. And you've had that and you've built up that network?
We have, yeah, absolutely. And word of mouth has been huge. We've got a lot of, like your mom, for example, and they'll come in, they'll bring people in with them, and they're like, you've got to see this product, it's all natural. And, fragrances, like I said, they play a big role. I've got some people that just absolutely love so we've got one in particular, cherry almond. Everybody loves that fragrance. I've got it in room spray, soap, lotion, you name it, I've got it. And people will come in and just buy every single one of the items just because of the fragrance. But it's, the companies, they call it natural fragrance. But at some point, like how natural is it?
Yeah.
Is it literally made from cherries, or almonds? So we try our best to limit the fragrances and go more towards natural scents.
Yeah, and you keep that. Now, so you built this up. You have your network of people coming in that are taking and like willing to pay that premium. How's it been going? You said it's been a year and a half?
It's been about a year and a half.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's been amazing. Mother's Day just about overwhelmed the gal that works in my store for me, Kathlina. She's super sweet. It just about overwhelmed us. We were just so fortunate to have that much business. But we had people, everybody seems to be last minute shoppers in this town. I don't know about you.
That's
I mean, I'm guilty. I am totally guilty of it. I do it myself. But we had people come in, I think within 4 hours, we probably threw together 7 to 12 baskets. And, we tell people you can come in, you can pick your product, pick what basket you want, and then we put it together for you right there. We doll it up and then wrap it up, and you're out the door. So, yeah, it's been great.
All right, very cool. And I just want to say, when my mom tasked me to find this powder, because she was, Sam, get a little bit of info. We did her logo. We helped her start her business years ago.
Nice.
My other media company, we did her logo and helped her do that when she was like, I can make soap, and turned it into a big empire until they moved. They live in Oregon now. But that's how we found you. So Yuma is that way. It's connection, right?
Correct.
Sam said, I don't have that anymore, but this who has it gave me your phone number, and I was able to be a good boy and help my mom that day. Yeah, but tell everybody where they can find you location-wise, and then maybe if you have like Instagram or anything like that.
Yeah, we have Facebook and Instagram at Right Off the Ranch. And I do post a lot on Nextdoor, too, so if you're on there, you can see what I post. But we are at 13877 South Patton Drive. I am 3 blocks east of Araby on County 14th Street.
And then if somebody wants to book a tour of the ranch, how do they do that?
They can email me at rightofftheranch@gmail.com.
All
or
right.
they can text me at 928-210-4519.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on. I really
you.
appreciate you. And Mom, if you're watching, I love you. So, all right. And with that, we're going to be back with our very own, I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, Travis Mitchell here from AWC.
Yep. And we're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
The KAWC Student Newsroom is funded by the Local News Initiative at the Community Foundation for Southern Arizona, the Scripps Howard Fund, and by generous local support. Thank you for supporting the next generation of public media. Learn more about the project and hear stories from emerging journalists at kawc.org/student newsroom.
For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Victor Calderon. Yuma Democratic leaders came together Thursday to call out Arizona Republican Congressman Andy Biggs and David Schweikert on rising gas prices. Local elected officials and the chair of the Yuma County Democratic Party say the congressmen have voted against efforts to end the war in Iran. In Yuma, the average for regular gasoline was $4.89, according to AAA. The local leaders mentioned a report from the Joint Economic Committee that found local Arizona families are paying $457 more in transportation costs. Yuma Councilwoman Carol Smith.
I see every day how financial stress affects families. People are already struggling with the rising cost of groceries, childcare, housing, and healthcare. And when gas prices spike, it puts even more pressure on working families trying to make ends meet.
For KAWC News in Yuma, I'm Victor Calderon.
North End Community Center is now accepting registration for the Senior Season Pass program. Volunteer instructors are on site to assist with art programs that include wood carving, painting in all mediums, and more. Tuesday mornings through October. Information at yumaaz.gov under Parks and Recreation.
I'm Mike Suba, and I'm a big supporter of KAWC. You're getting a great source of information about our community, about the people that are working and living here, and you start going, you know what, this is really a valued service. And that's the great thing, is you've got a partnership here. And I'm a big believer in partnerships because the one thing I realized early on in life, I can maybe do a lot of stuff on a very limited basis, but when I start partnering up, it's amazing what we can do when we pool our resources. And so I hope that when people are listening to the station, enjoying the news broadcasts and the entertainment shows that are being presented, that they realize that you're not only the end user and enjoying what's being broadcast to you, but it can be a partnership too, where you can participate like I've discovered I can do and help get this service, enhance it, and provide even better programming. I'm Mike Suba, and I support KAWC.
The Humane Society of Yuma announces the 2026 summer camp schedule for children ages 7 to 15 beginning June 1st. Campers will connect with animals while learning how to care for, understand, and advocate for animals of all kinds with 5 age-appropriate one-week programs. Details and registration at hsoyuma.com.
Why is music an important part of your life? For many of us, music lets us see the world from someone else's perspective. We can find community in hearing someone else's joy, sorrow, or hope expressed in song or melody. KOFA Border Radio is your local, non-commercial source for great music.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by...
Friend of the station, Travis Mitchell. He is the Director of Marketing for the Entrepreneurial College at Arizona Western College. Thank you for being here this morning.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Yeah, we had a guest cancel, and so last minute, I know Victor reached out to you, and thank you for coming in. I really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I was like my fourth choice.
He's like, sleep in, show up to the rehearsal for the graduation tonight.
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
sleep in, and then got the text and texted a few people. Anybody else available? Okay. All right. Let me get some caffeine. I'll be there.
I'll do it. I'll be there. No, so I thought you were up because you used to be a part of the video department. Yeah. So I figured that you were up doing that stuff. But now you don't do that anymore, but you're still part of the marketing. And now you're doing stuff with the merch store.
Yes.
All right, but we're going to get to that here in a little bit. We like to get to know our guests. Are you originally from Yuma?
Yes, born and raised here my entire life.
Born and raised? And so what schools did you go to?
Reagan, and then Crane Junior High, and then a year at Cibola. And after that year at Cibola, long story short, I was having more fun with my part-time job at Channel 13 that I quit going to high school, homeschooled the rest of it, got my GED when I was 16, had a full-time job as soon as I turned 16 there. And did 5 years total at Channel 13. The last few was directing the 6 and 10 o'clock news.
And so that was your first step into media.
Yeah.
It was over that.
Yeah. My uncle had worked in radio. He started out when he was in high school.
Here?
Yeah. He did. He worked at K-Blue a bit and then jumped over to the TV side. Did sports here for a couple years.
What's
and then
his name?
Larry Klein.
Larry Klein.
Yeah.
Okay.
You might not be old enough to really.
Yeah. No, I don't know if I'm familiar with
it was when I was pretty young. I think we're about the same age. So.
Yeah.
But he ended up in the mid 80s, moved up to Phoenix, got a job behind the scenes up there, and then ended up getting headhunted by CBS News to work for them for like 20 something years. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So he definitely planted the bug in me to
he
do
planted
that stuff. I got lots of behind the scenes.
And that bug that you mentioned, is that something that you kind of naturally enjoyed then when you got over there?
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. I mean, I had originally, I went to Cibola because I wanted to do CTV. because they used to do the CTV as one of the electives. And the year that I was there, they decided at the last minute to not do CTV. They used the studio to teach cabinet making.
What?
And yeah, it's like the only year, I guess, until
decision.
I think the program's evolved now. But until a few years ago, that was like the only year they didn't offer CTV. So was the year I was there, which I think is probably also partly why I was like, okay,
you're out of there
later.
I'll
just get a real job. You know,
that's hilarious. So I totally see you're like, okay, I'm done with this. This is not what I was signing up for.
Yeah.
I'm gone. And so you're over there. You said 5 years.
Yeah, I did about almost 5.5 years total at Channel 13.
And then, so what'd you start off and then you said you started producing at some point?
It was an internship when I technically started there as a school project. The first night I was just intending to mostly observe. And about 2 minutes before the 6 o'clock news, the boss man, who was also our main anchor, yelled, "Hey, can you run prompter?" And I said, and he said, "It's easy. Don't worry about it." They didn't tell me how often. It was old technology because that's all we had there, of course. Channel 13.
It was probably very old. It was a while back.
It's slightly improved by now. Yeah. But we it was very much Cibola. Honestly, for a while there had better equipment than some of the stuff we had there. And for sure, when I left there and came here, the college had way better equipment.
So what year was this? Do you remember?
I started in 97 and then jumped over here in 2002.
Okay, so I went in there probably in 2001. I think the first time, and it was still like, it was ancient.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
I was like, whoa, this is pretty bad. Yeah. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So,
teleprompter.
Yeah. First night, they said, "Can you run prompter?" That thing used to jam constantly because it was paper. It wasn't like a computerized prompter. We printed all of our scripts on dot matrix paper, and the top copies got taped together and run through this thing under a camera, and it would jam constantly because you had a 30-foot long string of paper to get through the 6 o'clock newscast. And somehow I got through it that night, white knuckling the little speed control on the prompter the whole time. But then did that a few more times and, was enjoying the internship. They taught me to edit, let me run cameras a little bit during the show. And after a while, the boss news director was kind of like, "You're way over the hours you were supposed to do for this internship. If you keep coming, I'll pay you." And I was like, "Deal." So
good
turned
deal.
into a part-time job over that summer then. And for a while, I was working more hours than I legally apparently should have been, we found out. And they cut me back to whatever it's legal for a 15-year-old to work until I turned 16. And then they literally pretty much made me full-time within a couple weeks of me turning 16.
And then you started producing at that? Is that when you started?
Oh, okay. I mean, I never really truly produced in the sense of, like producing a newscast. I would help out. I mean, I did a lot of I directed mostly.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'd be the one in the control room calling the shots, calling cues.
Oh, okay.
That sort of stuff. But that also meant, marking scripts and making sure everything was in place, making sure all the graphics got done. Some of that stuff I would do. Some of that other people were taking care of. But then, there was some parts that, I would end up copy pasting some scripts off the feed type stuff or rewriting regional stories, little stuff that was buried in the show, a little bit of script writing and helping out with rundowns. But mostly directing and
mostly. Okay. Yeah. So you're doing that. And then, so how did AWC poach you, or did they, or tell me about that story.
No poach.
Okay. All right.
I'd been there, like I said, there about 5 years. The raises were not coming. It was after I had been due for, our annual-ish raises we would get around the time 9/11 happened. And when that happened, they were like, "Oh, we're freezing, wages," and we were like, "Oh, well, we had some people that they turned in paperwork for, and already," and they're like, "Too bad," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So then a year later, still no raises and stuff, and I was like, I can't, if I'm gonna make a career of this, I can't be making $6.50 an hour forever, for a full-time job, which
for the amount of work that you do, because we've had plenty of people, different anchors and reporters on here, and people have no idea, especially back in the day, how much work it takes to run it, because everybody there is having multiple positions, right? And you're saying with very limited amount of equipment and ancient equipment.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, they have. I mean, it's so much easier on them today because they can get away with shooting stuff on their cell phone if they have to. They have a MacBook Air that they're carrying around and editing in the field.
Yeah,
our cameras weighed 25 pounds. The batteries lasted 15 minutes on a good day. And, then you had to edit tape to tape, which was slower than real time.
Yes.
So, and we didn't even have a microwave linked to El Centro. Our El Centro guys would have to shoot and edit stories and drive the tapes over. Every day.
An hour each way.
Yeah, well,
give or take.
No, their record was, I think, 27 minutes from the El Centro Bureau, which we did the math and was averages something about 112, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very illegal.
Yeah.
This was before they had if it weren't for the fact they had called us from the El Centro Bureau, so we knew what time they left. When they walked in the door, we all were like, you cannot seriously be here already.
Yeah.
Like, did you time warp? That's, I don't want to know.
As you said, technology has changed, and now, the Bureau has its own, equipment over there. I have to say, I've seen the mics that the reporters have. I think the mics might still be from the same era when you worked there. They looked a little beat up.
Yeah, well, fortunately, Shure makes some pretty good microphones.
Okay. Oh yeah,
this classic SM58. You can beat those things with a hammer. The first time I went to see Letterman live, he comes out and does his warm up beforehand, and they just toss him an SM58 on a cable to talk to the audience. And he was notorious for swinging that thing like a lasso.
Gotcha.
And when he's done, he just throws it backstage. That thing, the ball was smashed flat on it. Even knowing how those things are constructed inside, I don't know how that mic was still working, how flat it was. And he was notorious for that. I mean, those things will take a beating.
And they're performance mics, so they're meant to take a beating. So you're doing that, and so AWC, you're saying, oh, I'm not getting a raise over at KSWT. AWC. So did you apply for it?
Yeah, I had looked at a couple other opportunities out of town. I really kind of wanted to stay in the news business. My heart then, and even now to an extent, has always been on the news side. In a way, I'm kind of glad that I made the decision I did, even though my heart still misses news, because that industry has gone through its struggles in waves many times since then. I mean, I have good friends that still work in it. I have many more friends who worked in it, loved working in it, but could not continue working in it because the jobs aren't there. The upward mobility is not there. It's, the downsizing, the automation and stuff. I mean, I'm very fortunate. One of the kids, literally, he was a student at Cibola still that I worked with when I was directing at 13 and was teaching others to do it. He took over when I left there. He ended up, I think, went to Tucson and then got a job in Phoenix at the Fox station there, which is a Fox O&O, and was directing there. And they were one of the early stations to go fully automated. So one Friday he had 25 people in the control with him and on headset in the studio. And the following Monday it was him and a producer in the control room and one person in the studio.
Wow.
On headset. And that was it. And everything else was completely automated. But he was fortunate. He was ahead of that curve. So last I know, I think he's still working for Channel 2 in LA. Shout out to Justin, if anyone knows him.
And so then you came here and you were the video department? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The department was then television services.
Television services. Yeah. Okay. That's what it was
It's
called.
been renamed since, but I mean, doing the AWC games, we didn't broadcast commencement for the first few years because it was a smaller ceremony. It wasn't as big as it is now. We also didn't have the resources to be able to do live productions at remote locations. It took us a few years, even after I got here, to get the live connection from the gym. And then we were able to work a deal with the cable company. They helped us out with some fiber from Gila Ridge so that we could do the live from down there. And then obviously nowadays, everything can just be IP based and cellular bonded modems. And there you go.
How long were you part of the TV services?
21 years.
Wow.
I did that.
21 years. Yeah. All right. And then now you are part of
3 years
things.
3 years ago, I moved over to the marketing communications office as the director of marketing for the Entrepreneurial College.
Okay.
So I work in the marketing office, but focusing on promoting stuff related to the Entrepreneurial College, running their social media, that sort of stuff. But then realistically, also about like 30% of my job description is kind of other stuff related to the marketing department in general, which one of my bigger purviews lately, and that has been running the merch, or helping out with the merch store, helping get the POS system set up, and a lot of the logistics on that sort of stuff.
And do you enjoy that? Because that's like kind of out of your norm.
I the one thing I've liked about when I first started working here doing TV, and even in this position, is the variety. It's
Right?
not,
Oh, cool.
not the same
I
thing
dig
every
it.
day, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because when I remember when this building was first built, you reached out to me like you want to come and get a tour.
Yeah.
And so I always knew you as that TV services. And if I had a question, some technical question, I always run it by you. And then when I get out here, I'm like, I'm going to do a show here. It's like, oh, cool. I'm going to be working next to Travis.
Yeah.
And then I get out here, and then you're in this room over here going through shirts.
Yeah. No, I know
like,
Dave, the GM here, was very unhappy with me for jumping ship at the last minute because he's told me many times one of his perks of moving into the new facility was knowing that I was going to be 2 offices down from him and a yell away. But
well, I'm upset, Travis. So there's nothing I could do about it, but this I could do. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk a little bit about, maybe graduation and some other stuff going on. Sure. We're going to do that right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Helping Hands of Yuma connects volunteers with seniors in need of assistance. Services include transportation, shopping, and notary assistance, as well as community education workshops, advocacy, and personal hygiene supplies. Available to seniors 60 years and older. Details on services and how to volunteer at helpingyuma.org.
The weather forecast for Yuma today is sunny with the high near 100, clear tonight with the low around 66. In Quartzsite, sunny with the high near 99, gusts as high as 20 miles per hour, clear tonight and breezy with the low around 66. And sunny in Parker with the high near 102, clear tonight with the low around 66.
The town of Welton is hosting a community health and resources fair on Thursday, May 21st from 10 to noon at the Welton Community Center. This event brings together community organizations and service providers to offer resources, education, and support, including health screenings, vaccines, and wellness information. Details at weltonaz.gov.
If you're tired of listening to long commercials before finally hearing music, look no further. We've got you covered. Whether you're searching on your radio, trying to find an app to play some tunes, or need background music playing on your computer while finishing up some work, KOFA Border Radio is your non-commercial place for music.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here with
Travis he's the director of marketing for the Entrepreneurial College. So we were talking about how you were with television services for 21 years. And I think that's when I first met you, when I first started here at KWC in 2018. And so I saw you going to games and covering all the, Matadors, sports, doing all that. I know we covered some softball tournaments because we had the national softball tournaments. The AWC hosted over at the Pacific Avenue Athletic Complex, the PAAC. So that was a good event. And then you also talk about, I know that more recently the games have been broadcast like on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
The NJCAA did a deal a few years ago where they've started partnering with ESPN Plus to get some certain games on there. That first year when we did a bunch, they were trying to feature like game of the week type stuff most of the year through at least football, basketball, and I think baseball. I'm not sure if they were doing softball that year or just baseball. But we kind of were on the short list for some of the early ones because they knew we had kind of an established production setup, and we'd be able to give them some support and be able to adapt to having a game broadcast, a little more easily and stuff. And then they ended up coming back a few more times that year, or quite a few times it ended up being in the end. So.
Was that pretty exciting to be part of that?
Yeah. I mean, it made the day even longer because it was more set up and, having to, what was killing us on it was there was a lot of stuff where ESPN has certain rules on the cameras need to be positioned differently and not necessarily where we would put them for convenience in our gym. So we had to kind of rewire some stuff. We had to put some different equipment in the production truck because you have to use the ESPN graphics package, which our system couldn't handle. So they had to bring in a different switcher and a different character generator, which by the end of the year, we had it all set up where we could just punch a bunch of buttons on a router and plug a couple things in, and it was mostly done, but it took a little while to get to that point.
Yeah. I also talked about how you were in news, and I know I've always said to you and to other people that I always wish that you were a reporter here at KWC because I feel like you're more knowledgeable about things going on in Yuma like that doesn't always get reported for whatever reason, right? But you seem to know what's going on with especially with, I always tell people I feel like you're the only person under 50 who reads like these reports from like the city or like the county, from, like, the planning commission.
I do have a bad habit of reading agendas before meetings. I don't know.
And usually, like, if you drive by and you see like construction but there's no like obvious sign for what that's going to be, like I always like message Travis like, what's this going to be? And like he just looks it up online and he's like, oh yeah, that's going to be a ARCO AMPM or whatever.
I wouldn't have thought Yuma needed 3 more AutoZones, but here we are.
Yeah, it's funny that you brought that up because we talked about it a little bit off air. I use the same thing. I would, or if like, hey, there's a UFO in the sky or whatever, and then I'll reach out to him.
It's flares.
And
I
was like, what?
It's flares. It's flares.
It's like, what's going on, Travis? What's going? He's like, no, actually, they're doing this testing. They're doing blah 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 or whatever.
It's always flares.
I
learned that working in the newsroom at K-Sweat. If the phone rings, hey, there's weird lights in the sky. It's flares. And we get new reporters to be like, hey, someone's calling and saying they're seeing a UFO. It's flares. Well, what? It's flares.
But then even recently with what's it called? Elon Musk stuff.
SpaceX
right?
stuff, yeah.
SpaceX, right?
Yeah.
And people are still like, it's like, but or maybe not the more obvious ones, but the other satellites. Like you'd be like, okay,
the Starlink trains after they launch when you see the lines of them. Yeah.
You're like, this is what this is. It's like, okay, cool.
It's funny. The whole time I worked at 13, I tried to catch, because Vandenberg used to launch missiles for the military, and
I remember
sometimes for what's now the Space Force. It was Air Force back then. And they weren't very well publicized, and they were notorious for fudging the times. But once in a while, you would catch them launching, and you'd be able to see them here with that lit up trail at night, and it'd freak people out. And I, for years, never saw one happen. But I would I so many times was sitting out in the station parking lot for half an hour with the camera ready to go, wanting to catch one on camera, and never did the time I was there. And now it's like with SpaceX, it's nothing. I take out the trash at night and go,
there it is.
More Starlinks. Okay.
Yep.
So you're with the Entrepreneurial College. You have a good team over there.
Yes,
great
and I
know one of the events that y'all put on was the ribbon cutting for the Workforce Accelerator in Welton.
Yes.
Remind our listeners and viewers what that is out there.
So that's a new facility funded by the Arizona Commerce Authority that they've partnered with other community colleges in Arizona and us, but to do similar facilities. Ours is targeting like advanced manufacturing jobs, skills like that. We, tons of new equipment, giant 3D printers that can print 3-foot square stuff, and, water jet cutters coming in soon, stuff like that. And to teach, like I say, advanced manufacturing, electronics for like automation and control of warehousing, manufacturing equipment, that sort of stuff. Some of those types of programs out there. So it's a very purpose-built facility out there.
So it's just building up the infrastructure in Welton, and I know that was a big event that was well attended, and the governor, Katie Hawks, was here.
We were happy to get her down. She's a big supporter of the Future 48 thing with the ACA, so she goes to most of the ribbon cuttings and groundbreaking, so we were cutting a little tight finding out for sure if she was going to make it this year, but she did make a trip down for us for that.
So we have about a couple minutes left. Tell us again about what the Entrepreneurial College, what the focus is, and how it helps the community.
So Entrepreneurial College is kind of the pillar, the second pillar they refer to it as, of AWC, where it houses the healthcare programs, the vocational stuff, a lot of the non-transfer stuff. So not your humanities degrees, not your history degrees, but people that are going for healthcare jobs, IT jobs, automotive, HVAC, agriculture, those types of things, and then all the construction, manufacturing, logistics, that stuff. All of those types of programs are under there because they tend to deal a lot more with grant programs, with also a lot of workforce training stuff. So not necessarily students that are going for a full 2-year degree. They're going to get 2 or 3 classes to get a certification in logistics, to get a certification for welding, for a lot of those things where they're not going for a full 2-year degree. And also, we need to be able to make those courses available in the evenings, on weekends.
Yeah. We
need to be able to say, Gowan, for example, we partnered with them to do a electrical course, and we have a trailer that lives out the Welton Center that we can bring a full electrical course to the employer, set it up in their parking lot, teach the class in their conference room over the course of a week for 3-4 hours a day, and then do all their lab work with stuff in the trailer.
Wow.
And then same thing, we offered a class, I can't can't remember if it was electrical or if it was something similar up in Parker a while back. We took the trailer up there for a week and were able to offer a class that normally wouldn't be offered in Parker, but if we have the demand, and that's the big thing, is a lot is partnering with industry, partnering with businesses. If they need their workers trained or upskilled or something, we can do, stuff like that on demand for them.
Yeah, so we're running out of time, which I wish we'd have more time with you because there's a lot more we can talk about.
Back on.
Yeah. So what do you got to do at graduation tonight?
So tonight we will have the merch store set up down there. We will have lots of alumni shirts and other merchandise, AWC shirts. If you need last minute grad stuff, if you lost your tassel or something, we will have a few of those things available in the gym. One of Janet that works with us will be in there. We will have the merch store set up down at the south end of the bleachers under the big blue shade. But if you are coming to graduation, since I hear the music starting to fade up, please get there early. Consider not using Arabian 24th Street. Either come out Highway 95, use 9E, and come in the back way because traffic will be busy.
It's going to be busy.
It starts at 7, so be here before 7 because it takes a while to park and walk. Clear bag policy, no balloons, no noisemakers, no weapons, no alcohol. Hydrate because it'll be warm. Don't block anybody's driveway if you park across the street.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us.
I think I got it all.
Yeah, good. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. Want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Ornales, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music.
On Monday's program, we will have Deidre Solomon.
Yeah, so she's with the Indigenous Fashion Show, and we're also going to have Rocio Aguilar with Off the Charts. You can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
All right. Have a good weekend, everyone, and congratulations to everyone graduating tonight.